I had the opportunity to have a conversation with one of the best traders in the world, Mike Williams. We got to sit down and talk about the Bitcoin price action, what is going to be happening amongst the debt ceiling debacle, as well as the monthly close happening today. Is Bitcoin going to dump? We got a potty, or is Bitcoin going to pump? I think you'll really like the conversation. Make sure to stick around till the end. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Let's get into it. Mike, it's so good to have you on the channel again, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. It's really nice weather here, and yeah, and the markets are moving. So yeah, I'm a happy man. I'm a happy man.
Yeah, man, the markets are moving. We're getting a lot of volatility. And so I want to get your take because there's a few things going on. First of all, we've got the monthly close today. And secondly, we've got this debt ceiling debacle going on, which a lot of market analysts are saying this is going to bring some volatility to, the legacy market. So first, I just kind of want to get your take as we approach the monthly close here. Are you expecting some volatility? Because although we've rejected from 30K, we haven't seen much follow through. I wouldn't even consider that we've made a real lower low yet on the higher term time frames. We're just kind of hanging around there. So what's your view right now on the charts as we head into this monthly close?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think there's a lot of factors into play. Um, so I'm thinking where do I want to start off? I think I just want to stick to the roots first and just talk about the crypto part. Typically, historically speaking, Wednesdays, let me actually double check. It is Wednesday. Yeah, it is Wednesday. Typically, Wednesdays are amongst the most volatile days on Bitcoin, usually. It doesn't happen every single month, but also this particular Wednesday coincides also with the monthly close, right? So I do think we might see some volatility. And then if you add another layer on top of that, which is indeed the fundamental aspect of the legacy markets, which is the US debt ceiling that has been increased. To me, absolutely no surprise that they raise it on the last single moment. But yeah, obviously it's there's a lot of speculation essentially going on. So and that speculation causes fluctuations in the market. But personally, I like to stick really to the technicals because for me, it's always reflected in the chart. And therefore, that allows me to have that focus and focus on what's really important for me as a trader, which is price action. And that way I can eliminate the news. So I suppose we can take a look at that.
Yeah, let's pull it up, man. I want to get
All
your
right.
thoughts on this
So
because I know you
I
have all
will.
the secrets to what Bitcoin's going to do.
Well, not all the secrets, but some of them.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So why don't we pull open the charts and you can tell us what you're thinking here.
Yeah, let's just start with the elephant in the room, I would say. Let's take a look at the dollar index at first. On the lower time frame currently, I'm kind of I expect that we would start to see a possible retracement, which currently on the lower time frame is starting to happen, right? So we're gonna have to see if that pulls through. We have seen quite a significant rise on the dollar. In my opinion, from a technical point of view, it all makes sense because of the fact that ultimately we have already retraced and embarked on a really big macro downtrend since then. And also on the midterm time frame, we have been having this what I would class as unhealthy downward sloping consolidation, right? So it's not really a trend. So I'm classifying this as a downward sloping range. And then generally speaking, this is where a lot of volume is being built up. Just like in crypto, just like on stocks, the underlying mentality usually remains the same. And so for the dollar as well. So for me, it only does make sense that at some point you're gonna have to, flush the market a little bit and break out and search for that liquidity to the upside, which in my opinion, that is what is the underlying technical fundamentals is on about. But ultimately, we haven't really made any new, really significant high, right? All that we've done is just a relief rally so far. And while we did reclaim some key levels, actually, let me show you that in a little bit more detail. Let me clean that up for a second. So overall, I'm simply looking at the dollar at this really, really big multi-year, almost a decade worth of price action. This is a really important level, right? And we're once again hovering around this sort of region. And if you look at it in such a macro perspective, what I would say is that the dollar is now attempting to, wash out that previous support slash resistance now into more or less of a range. So on the macro picture, I'm not really very convinced that this was the end of the bear market of the dollar, for example. Now,
Yeah,
also with that debt ceiling increased, and we already have had that relief rally. In my view, it's basically a fact that it's already priced in beforehand, right? Before the news actually came out. That is my current stance on the things. And on top of that, we're now holding this support, but we're still not really advancing. So we're now more or less forming this range. I mean, if we start losing these lows again, well, then we can basically be on our way once again to the lower end of this section of the chart. Now, I do have to admit that lately, the legacy markets and crypto have not been corresponding too well with each other. So that is
right.
definitely something that I think you should be aware of, because in the past, and I'm talking about 2-3 months ago, when the dollar would rise, there was a really strong inverse correlation. Now we have seen a really significant increase in the dollar, which traditionally speaking results often in, let's say, the ES or the S&P 500, and with that, Bitcoin also in a significant drop to the downside. Um, we did saw a retracement on Bitcoin, but it is not as deep and steep as one would expect if you look at the past data. So
Right.
overall, Bitcoin is really kind of doing its own thing. And that makes it a little bit tricky to right now with that new information, and correlations come and go, right? So it could come back tonight or tomorrow. But thus far, uh, I would say that Bitcoin is more in its own realm currently and just doing its own thing. Um, so that is what I think at the overall market. But overall, I think the dollar is ready for another retracement. That probably would result in the ES rising just a little bit more. For me, that chart is ultra simple. Actually, there's three really big levels that we have got going on here, which is I need to lean in a little bit because the letters are small. It's pretty much 4,300. 4150, which is very important level. Most of the volume in this entire range is pretty much over here, right? So very important level. Now, should we drop there to the downside? Yeah, then obviously we're gonna get a much bigger reaction on the traditional markets, and I think that will probably drag stocks down with them as well. And then simply that this purple line over here would be the next level to look for, which also corresponds with a gap on the actual S&P 500. So that is where I would find the correlation. This is more for swing trading, not necessarily for day trading, but it's important to be aware of, I would say.
Yeah, interesting. And so it is interesting to see that the dollar, just technically speaking from the chart, is looking like it wants to come lower. Um, do you think that the debt ceiling, the raising of the debt ceiling, is that going to, I mean, negatively affect the dollar? And do you think that has the potential uh not only to pump, the ES and stocks, but also cryptocurrency? Because it is very interesting to see that as the dollar's been getting a retracement to the upside, crypto has not really been getting a big move downward, right? We've
Yeah.
kind of been holding a range. So, what's your take on the Bitcoin chart now, given the context of the debt ceiling, given the context of your bear sentiment on the dollar? Do you think that we're going to see those lower levels that a lot of people are looking for, 25 and below, or do you think it's possible that we may have just kind of, we're going to stick in this range and then break out to the upside again?
Really good question. Really good question. So overall, over the last few weeks, I would say Bitcoin has shown some local weakness, right? Because we have put in a lower low and a lower high, or the other way around, a lower high and a lower low, right? And now we've had some sort of a relief rally, and now we're pretty much just back into this section once again. The fact that Bitcoin did not break out to the downside, for example, whereas let's say the dollar has been rising incredibly by a lot, actually, for for forex, it's a really big move. Bitcoin really has held its own. So you could say like, okay, maybe if you just look at this chart, this could potentially look a little bit like, okay, there's some local weakness within this range, but the range itself still hasn't been broken. So
Right.
if you would interpret it on a more deep level, then you could also actually say like, wow, Bitcoin is actually holding itself up, maintaining its overall macro structure, which is, if you take it from the December lows last year, remains up, right? So another way or another perspective to look at it is that, yes, we've seen a retracement, but seeing these really big movements in the traditional markets, whereas Bitcoin is kind of holding its own. It could even be classed as some sort of a hidden strength, right? And in
Right.
the end, that does enter into the realm of speculation, in my opinion. So I'm gonna have to always back it up with technical reasons as to why I think we are still in an uptrend. And the line, literally, that you see over here is pretty much the reason why I think that at this point of that we speak with each other, there's really no reason to worry or expect lower prices per se. As long as this as it doesn't come back below this $25,000 region, I think the probability remains very high that we would see higher prices. Yes.
Yeah, because when I look at the chart, just my own personal view on it is, the low that we put in on the 27th of March around 26,500. When we
Oh
came
yeah.
for that low on the 12th of May, we got a very bullish looking swing failure pattern. And from the 12th of May, we've locally now been making some bullish market structure here. So I'm kind of looking uh, at potentially now, as long as we can hold, put in a higher low locally, there's a chance we could get a rotation back up to 30K, potentially even break out, especially depending on what happens with the dollar. Of course, that's all speculation, but I do like the low that we put in on the 12th of May. Do you like that as like a bullish low of the range, or are you thinking that's still looking kind of weak?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, literally going off of the data that's being presented to us. And I think also we have now been ranging for what, 2 months, I think, overall. People simply get bored, at some point the range will break. For me, we are at a support region. So for me, entering into, let's say, a swing short trade is way too late, because if you were bearish and you would wanted to short, then I think you had really a lots of opportunity over here, here, and here. And I would say now is just simply too late. But at the same time, it looks indeed like we have established that bullish market structure. Yet currently at this point in time, we're still in a range. So that can,
Right.
in my opinion, that can lead to a little bit of confusion, which is where I would personally say, like, okay, you can split your trading ideas into two ideas, right? So either you can, or just keep on trading this range and just wait for whatever happens next, right? Or you can anticipate more in line with what you're saying, like, okay, this is a potentially, it is a good low, it does look decent, we even have tested all the liquidity over here, which is the reason why I would class when this low was made, and we've increased in price, that was the point for me where I said, like, okay, now this low looks better, right? Before, I said also to myself, like, it's much more likely that we're going to test these lows again. This happened. We front ran this low, but we did fill in all the liquidity gaps, and you can see the reaction from there, which is pretty nuts.
Right.
Um,
A local higher high.
yeah, exactly. So, and the other option, what you could potentially look for is besides just keep on trading this range, which is something that I'm doing, but I also, because of this rise and the fact that we made this newer high, does give me a little bit of extra information where I could say, like, okay, maybe this was indeed the low. We have now that confirmed market structure. Or you could even look at it from here. This is where the move began. And you could be looking for, let's say, a higher low where you would be trading it yet again for another higher high, indeed. If we reclaim this high, then I would say $30,000 at least is pretty likely. Yeah, definitely. Um, if we make that new high, or I would say that is the moment where it's not gonna lie, it's quite a big move, right? But I would say the probabilities increase significantly that we would see higher prices.
Right. Yeah, I don't like the highs that we have, I guess, going back to around that time, around the 26th of April until the 6th of May. It looks like those are just begging to get taken out right there. And we have some pretty interesting levels of resistance just above them as well. So, um, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I agree with you as well. For me, within this range, the high that we put in recently is for me the most important level of the entire range. Really, there's a few levels above it, which is literally $30,000, but this level over here that I've now marked out, I simplified it a lot, but it is the place of the highest volume as well over here. So I would say if we reclaim that, then the probabilities are, in my opinion, yeah, never. I'm never certain, right? So you never speak in certainties with trading, but I would say, based on my experiences, yeah, probably we're gonna take out these highs because I agree. This was a massive liquidity candle, right? Taking out everything above, everything below, and then end up in the middle. Then we had a secondary attempt, or actually a secondary attempt, then a third attempt, and even a fourth attempt, never really taking out these highs. And while making these three highs, that is where the new liquidity has been formed. Not on this candle, because this is a takeout candle, but this is where fresh liquidity is being created. And the fact that they're so close to each other, I do agree with you. If we reclaim that POC, I would definitely be looking for those highs specifically to be taken out. Yes.
Cool, man.
And
I like to hear when you are thinking the same thing as me because it gives me more confidence in my ideas.
yeah, nice, nice. I mean, that is in the end what it's about. And the reason why I think this could progress further is also that if the liquidity up there is so high, this could provide the fuel. I mean, the context is there. We've been ranging here for a good few months now, literally since mid of March. We're now entering into June. So, regardless of which way this is going to break this range, ultimately these levels are 25,700, and ultimately the upper level is that $31,000 level. If we break out of this range, I do. I think it's fair to say we're going to see significant follow through for a few months to come. That is what I do think. And since that structure is up, I would say it is more likely that we're gonna see higher prices rather than lower prices. However, if I'm wrong, I'm completely fine with that as well because for me as a trader, it doesn't matter whether we drop in price or whether we increase in price. I'm just trading whatever is given in the end.
Right, right. Same here, bro.
Trade
Um,
the markets up and down.
yeah, yeah, whatever trade you're given, take. Mike, thank you so much for coming back to the channel, man. I always appreciate your insights, man. I really do, and I'm honored that you would even come on my channel. Let everybody know where can they find you on social media. I know you got a new series that you just started. You're starting a Discord group. Where can everyone get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed the previous video as well. So, yeah, thank you for having me on again. I'm currently doing a daily YouTube series, which is called Crypto Compass, where I am literally going over the intraday moves. So I'm going on the lower time frames and I'm talking through what I expect on that particular day. This series will come to an end soon because it's a limited series. And I'm also indeed starting a Discord group because by doing this series, I really rediscovered my passion also for teaching. And yeah, this is going to be a place where it's going to be dedicated to people who are looking to trade the markets throughout the day as well. And for me, Discord didn't really necessarily provide, or sorry, YouTube didn't provide that place to really be in touch with the people. So that's why I'm starting a community. You can find that on thrive-labs.io. Currently, there's a 20% discount running because we're not open yet. So if you sign up now, then you'll be able to enjoy that. And you will also be able to be there on the earliest time possible. So, and from there on out, we're just gonna keep on crushing the markets pretty much.
Awesome, man. Well, Mike, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Happy volatile Wednesday, and we'll have to do this again sometime, man.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me on once again. And well, hopefully we're gonna have a good monthly close.
Yeah. All right. God bless everybody. Peace.
Cheers.